Hello all, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, and I want to talk to you today about loss. Now, we all experience it in life, in love, and especially in video games, where there was a time of the glory days of the arcade where a game over was such a common sight on the coin-hungry cabinets. Yet, I'm here to tell you today that losing isn't always bad. For a start, in life, loss might feel unfair, but it's a due process of the world, and we should all remember the good in people rather than the bad if we can, as we all probably hope that others will do the same for us. And when it comes to video games, well, they can actually be quite hilarious as well. In fact, I already provided a list on this a while back, which you should definitely check out, and now I've returned with yet another continue to showcase some more sad endings that actually ended up like that little massage parlor down the road with happy experiences in the end. I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 more secret game over screens that were absolute genius. Number 10, Clock Tower Running Away. Now, I won't lie, the original Clock Tower is a mighty scary game. Now, I won't say that it's aged well. I mean, look at whatever this is here. Jesus, gross, weird, get it out of my face. However, there are still plenty of scares to be found as you take control of Jennifer, an orphan who's just trying to survive the creepy and supernatural events happening around the Clock Tower Manor. And by that, I mostly mean running away in terror from this guy, the Scissorman, a gross little jigsaw wannabe with a real love for the snipping. Therefore, it's understandable if you just want to hold up your hands and just say, you know what, screw this, I'm out of here, and head straight for the front door and the car that's conveniently placed outside. Now, the worry begins the moment the car actually starts. I mean, that's something that never happens in horror films, and as you drive away, you begin to think to yourself, seriously? Well, that was easy. But lo and behold, you're not alone in the vehicle as the Scissorman is hiding in the back, or more specifically, his shears, which come into frame and he doesn't, which, when you think about it, a pair of supernatural scissors is actually much more terrifying, right? Number 9, Nier Automata Eating a Fish. Nier Automata, potato, patata, I will say it that way until the day I die, is a brilliant title, offering up some of the best boss battles on consoles, as well as a winding narrative about the value of human and android life. However, that's not to say it doesn't veer into the goofy side every once in a while. Case in point, one of the many endings of the game which all revolves around eating fish. Now, I'm no fancy scientist, but the one thing I do know is that, thanks to the game's description of this salty fish, is that mackerels are poisonous to androids because they gum up their guts. Therefore, it's probably in your best interest, as well as theirs, not to ingest one. However, we all know that when a game tells us not to do something, then that's going to be the first thing that we bloody well do. And if you choose to eat this lovely fish, you'll end up, well, dying and triggering a secret ending. But at least we know how tasty it was before they passed on to Silicon Heaven, which doesn't exist. Number 8, Nancy Drew Danger on Deception Island Eating a Sandwich. Now, I never really grew up with the Nancy Drew books. I was much more of a Goosebumps kid, being obsessed with those weird raised front covers that let you feel the gross monster's face in some manner. However, maybe I should have played Danger on Deception Island, as that too seems to have rewarded minds who wanted to get, well, a little bit gribbly. At one point in the game, you're given the option to make a sandwich and have the whole pantry to play with. Meats, sauces, cheeses, all rendered in that oddly shiny but also kind of gritty 90s charm. However, don't you dare think about adding mayonnaise to that mixture, as if you do, well, you're going to be in for a world of pain. Now, mayo in a sandwich I thought was pretty common, but clearly not for whoever bought this jar, as it's secretly gone way past its expiry date, meaning that if you feed the sandwich to Katie or eat it yourself, you get food poisoning and are left with an awkward exchange in which you tell people about how you voided your bowels and stomach. Hilarious, but also disgusting. Number 7, Mole Mania Pestering Grandad Too Much. If you've never played Mole Mania, then you're missing out on a glorious little puzzle game from the Game Boy's back library, which puts you in the paws of Muddy, a mole out on a quest to save his wife and 7 kids from the hands of an angry farmer who looks a lot like Mario, actually thinking about it. He is hoping that along the way he manages to get to the salon to deal with that monstrous unibrow. However, his wife probably doesn't mind, as most likely love, and also she, being a mole, is probably blind. That's nice, isn't it? Anyway, along your adventures, you'll encounter Grandpa Mole at checkpoints, where he'll not only give you some nice tips on how to progress, but will also restore your health. Isn't that nice? That's very nice. Cheers, mate. Well, maybe you should count your blessings, as if you decide to badger this old mole, he'll eventually get so annoyed with being used as a pop-up health stand that he'll lose his cool and literally end the game with a snarky tone. And he was so nice to begin with, eh? Number 6. Leisure Suit Larry waiting too long. Now, there are many ways to fail in the first Leisure Suit Larry. You can get run over by cars, catch all manner of sexual diseases, and even trigger a special animation in which the game breaks the fourth wall and showcases hundreds of Larry clones, which gets so meta it gives me a headache. Now, the aim of the game for this bag of grease and sperm is to lose his virginity before his time in this weirdly penis-shaped town comes to an end. Now, it's never implied that he's an actual virgin, but the game sure treats that word like it's the worst thing in existence, as if you waste enough time, you'll trigger this special and quite depressing ending. Upon realizing that he won't get his soap bar lathered by some lass, and with the sun rising, Larry puts a gun to his head. Yeah, you heard that right, and he kills himself. It is a monumental shift in tone for a game focused around cheesy comedy, but that's why it makes the list, because much like Larry's failed sexual conquests, no one saw that coming. Number 5. Lego Island failing to stop the Brickster. Lego Island is something of an internet meme goldmine, managing to tick those hefty boxes of nostalgia, ridiculous scenarios, and good old-fashioned terrible voice acting. Your main drive in this brick-based game is actually just to explore and have a good time of it. However, because you control a character called Pepper who makes chopping off your own hand because you got a bit of cramp look smart, and because you live in a world where pizza can melt jail cell locks, a nefarious blocky bastard called the Brickster begins to cause trouble all over the place. Now, likely because I was much younger when playing this for the first time, and also because I didn't really take the threats seriously, I just continued to piss about. I mean, after all, this all happens on a tiny island. It's not like he's going to cause that much trouble. Wow, okay. It looks like if you leave the Brickster for too long, then he'll destroy all of the buildings on the island and usher in some sort of nuclear apocalypse of sorts. People run around screaming and crying while the Brickster laughs, only to reflect that while the island now is his, it's kind of looking a lot like Gateshead does on a good day. And I can say that because I live there. Number 4. Super Paper Mario, it's over before it even starts. Being Nintendo's mascot must be exhausting. Not only are there constant, very large and spiky fires to put out, but you've also got to balance that with attending all the social events you've set up, like racing, tennis, the Olympics, friend stuff. Therefore, it's not too far-flung to think that Mario might just not want to go on an adventure every once in a while, as he's just plain knackered. Such is the case of Super Paper Mario, which gives you the option, right at the start of the game, to say, nah thanks, I don't fancy this hero lark, and peace out. Now, the game gives you tons of "are you sures?" in a manner that's similar to the scene out of the IT Crowd, but lo and behold, you can deny the game's main quest and trigger this lovely message. Oh, I see then all worlds are as good as doomed, before giving you a game over screen. But you know what, I'm actually fine with this. Maybe don't put all of your world-saving eggs into this mustachioed bucket next time, eh? Mario's got to watch his soaps. Number 3, Final Fantasy X, it's the lightning's fault. Now, let it be known that Final Fantasy X is one of my favourite games in the franchise. I know that everyone brings up the laughing scene, and I know that some of the story was absolute bunk, but you know what? I loved the combat and I loved Blitzball in all its forms. In fact, the best way to measure how much I love blitzing them balls is by saying I like it as much as Riku from Final Fantasy X hates lightning. In the game, she doesn't take any extra damage from being hit by a bolt, but she does make mention several times how much it frightens her, which makes it kind of even more cruel that you can bring her to the Thunder Plains, an area almost exclusively dominated by flashes more devastating than when your mum drops her beach towel on the nudist beach. I tell you, I can still see it when I close my goddamn eyes. Oh, all that hanging flesh. Disgusting, and also that's my one per list. And if you're a true sadist and allow her to bite the big one in the Thunder Plains, then you'll actually get a secret game over which says it was the lightning's fault, lending some fans to joke that she was actually predicting the sucky era that Lightning herself would preside over as the franchise slid from grace. Very edgy. Number 2, Doom 2016, Terminator thumbs up. The 2016 iteration of Doom is quite possibly the most fun I've had entering hell since going back to my school drunk for a reunion. Body bits everywhere, explosive action, yeah, and Doom is pretty good too. In fact, the game contains several moments of tongue so far in cheek that it's pushed through and is licking your neighbour's jam toast, from the bobbleheads which play the cheeky little version of the Doom theme to the Commander Keen references, right down to the ways in which you can die. Now, normally, being absolutely brutalized by a demon isn't gonna be fun, but if you decide to jump into a pit of lava and let yourself succumb to its fiery pit, you'll be treated to a lovely nod to Terminator 2. As Doomguy sinks into the molten lava, he'll pop a wee thumbs up as he goes down, showcasing once more why he's an absolute double billing of hardman and pop culture genius. And number 1, Total Distortion Game Over Guitar Warrior. Total Distortion is a game. What game that is, I can in no way tell you, because it is at once a very simple thing with a concept about you trying to make the best music videos, but at the same time is so utterly mental in how you actually approach this mission. One need only look at the ridiculous images on screen right now to see that this game is pretty much running on drugs so illegal that I'm pretty sure that even viewing this gives you a contact high. It's a game where the strangest images sit alongside each other, where you can make sandwiches, add in stabbing arms to your music video, and of course, get one of the best game overs ever. If you run into this chap, you'll start a guitar battle sequence, and should you lose, you'll be treated to a bizarre game over screen with this robo-warrior laughing at you, all the while accompanied by a song. Yes, that's right, its own song to inform you that you are indeed dead. It's so breathtakingly strange that my brain did a hard reset when seeing it for the first time. Yet you can't deny that this makes it one of the best reasons to die in any game ever. And there we go, those were 10 more secret game over screens that were absolutely genius. Let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. And if you need a little one-up for yourself, then why not pop one right up my backside by going down to the Teespring store, and you can check out all of our awesome new merch that we've got there. There's One Per List tees, there's all the other stuff that's going on. Oh, the Choose the Fighter one, that's quite nice. I'm actually going to order one of those for myself soon. And you know what? There's even a cheeky little wet bread one on there for you. You demanded it, I delivered. Brilliant. Get to be reminded of that every single day. Fantastic. Just hope you enjoyed the list, and I hope that you are taking care of yourself the best that you possibly can. Remember, if there's any obstacles in life, you can do this. You can overcome. And why don't you overcome to Twitter? Look at that terrible segue. Well, you can follow me at RetroJ with a 0, and I'll speak to you soon, you lovely, lovely people. Bye.